Hung Xingwang works tirelessly like a dog in a media company for a measly wage to support his ill mother in her medical bills. One day, his mother fell seriously ill and asked his boss to take leave. However, his boss did not permit his leave just because they're short-staffed in their new drama department. He tries to beg his boss that he will even work overtime just to make up for all the work he missed. But his boss only reminds him that he graduated from a third-tier university and should be grateful because the least qualified are only first-tier universities. His boss tells him to think it over carefully if he wants to take the leave. With that, he goes out to smoke a cigarette. His dad then called him, informing him not to worry because he had already borrowed some from relatives and friends, and his mother has medical insurance. But he knows it's not enough. He needed to do something. He heads over to the HR department and meets Sister Lee. 20 minutes later, he comes out feeling sad that he is now officially an unemployed person. At that moment, he realized his quiet reckless to quit his job in such a tough economic climate. Suddenly, a system interface appears, saying that the ultimate freedom system has been activated and it rewards our MC with some money for going against his ancestors' wishes. Our protagonist is suddenly puzzled, wondering what the hell he's looking at. He suspects that someone may be playing a video loudly, but he looks around and doesn't notice anything. His confusion grows even more as the system interface tells him to check his reward money. Our hero then brings out his phone only to see that his account has been credited with the same amount he saw on the interface. Still, he wonders if this might be a scam. He scrolls to look at the message closely, and the amount of money he sees completely blows his mind. The system tells him not to doubt it and that he should start living well. Despite seeing all the money he has right now, our protagonist still finds it hard to believe what's happening. He goes ahead to check his email and still sees the 88,000 yuan in his account. He thinks about the system he just awakened and how he activated it because he resigned. He starts to understand the system a little and decides to find another chance to get rewards. Suddenly, a lady approaches him asking what he's thinking about. She is known as Gao Wen, a singing and dancing blogger who has millions of fans. She then asks Xiguang if he has prepared her upcoming livestream plan. As she gets closer, his face goes red and he's too stunned to speak. He doesn't even remember what she asked him because he's too distracted by her stunning beauty. Seeing how distracted he is, she asks if he has finally opened up to her. She then reminds him to organize more operational resources for her because her top fans are slacking off. Gao Wen is known as the sexiest dance goddess online, and her tendency to joke around is seen as her weakness and strength. Our hero then informs her about his resignation and says the company will arrange for someone to take over. Upon hearing this, she is baffled and wonders why he has quit so suddenly. Xingwang knows that Wen only looks at him because of his knowledge of influencer operations. Regardless, he doesn't feel the need to say anything. Right now, he's as clear-headed as he can be. She tries to use her charms to persuade him to manage her operations, but our hero has already completed all the procedures for his resignation. She wonders why he's suddenly acting weird, then she asks if he's really going to leave her by herself. Our hero steadies his mind in order not to be swayed by Wen's charming looks. He then tells her that he wants to go on a long vacation. Wen gets even closer to him while asking which company he's going to and if they'll be competitors from now on. Due to how close she is, our hero can barely think straight because his brain is getting all excited. At that moment, he reminds himself that he can become a billionaire with the system and get any kind of beautiful woman. He suddenly notices that Gao Wen seems to have had a lot of work done. He then suggests that she should get some cosmetic maintenance done on her nose. The girl is completely shocked by his statement and even embarrassed, causing her to cover her nose. She whips out a small mirror and uses the sunlight to check her nose, wondering how it could be crooked. After staring at herself for a while, she decides to fix her nose quickly before the broadcast starts. Thanks to our hero's actions and open-mindedness, the system rewards him with about 23,000 yuan. He quickly brings out his phone to check his account balance, and he sees that the money has been deposited into his account. Upon seeing this, he finally figures out what the ultimate freedom system really means. He believes the system just wants him to be himself and not be a simp. After thanking the protagonist for his advice, Gao Wen hopes they'll still be able to work together in the future, so she wishes him the best. Xingwang is baffled by her kind words because he expected her to be upset after what he said to her. He can't tell if she's just pretending or actually being serious about what she said. However, she offers to treat him to a farewell dinner, and she also offers to help him find a job if he runs into any hurdles. Our hero suspects that she's worried about him because of his low education. Still, he's surprised to see how nice she actually is. He then offers to treat her to dinner instead, but she tells him to save up because of his meager salary. Even at that, our protagonist insists and tells Gao Wen to think of it as his advance, thanks for her support. At that moment, she puts on a really cute expression while also realizing that she doesn't really know our boy well. After packing up his belongings, Xingwang decides to contact her after work hours. He then heads out and into the bustling streets of the city. Normally, he would walk to his destination or even use public transport if walking was too much. On really late nights, he would share cars with others just to get back home, and he considered this a luxury at the time. Right now, our hero has more than enough money, so he decides to book the most expensive taxi. Moments later, a luxurious, awesome-looking car pulls up in front of him. The driver steps out to greet our boy and kindly asks him to get into the vehicle. Xingwang is awestruck as he looks at the car. The smooth lines and engine sounds are everything he expected of a luxury car. He then recalls a time in the past when he couldn't find someone to carpool with, causing him to get home at midnight. Compared to that moment, his life has definitely taken a great leap now. The driver then opens the door for him to get inside. As he gets in, the system rewards him with 50,000 yuan for indulging himself. The driver then tries to confirm his destination at the Baoxing Road intersection. The protagonist confirms and tells him to stop at the Laxi Pancake Shop. After that, the driver quickly steps on the gas while our hero enjoys the deluxe pushback. The car speeds off, and in mere moments, they arrive at the pancake shop in style. Our hero steps out of the car, looking ready to order every single thing he's craving at the moment. The old lady who runs the shop sees him and asks if he'll be having his usual pancake without eggs and sausage. However, Xingwang decides to order his pancake with 2 extra eggs this time. As he adds extra sausages to his order, the people around him are shocked. Our hero recalls how he could barely afford good food because of his low salary and expensive rent. He never bothered adding eggs back then, but now he can go all out on his meal. He feels like he is leveled, and he wants everyone around him to be envious and jealous. The people around the area are baffled by his order and wish they could be at his level someday. Even the system is happy with his standards and goes ahead to reward him with another 20,000 yuan. Xingwang goes ahead to enjoy every bite of his delicious big meal. He also decides to add 5 eggs the next time he comes to buy pancakes. While eating, he recalls that he couldn't even afford entertainment because he was too broke back in school. He tosses the wrapper into the trash while wondering what normal folks do to entertain themselves. As he walks through the streets, he comes across a huge shopping mall. An idea strikes him, and he realizes that he can go shopping with how much money he has. Seeing that he still has to take Gao Wen to dinner, he decides to get better clothes that fit the aesthetics of the expensive restaurants. Our hero quickly heads into the mall to begin his shopping spree. He comes across the shops of some big brands like Hermes and Louis Vuitton. Not only is he shocked by the scent of oranges, but he also wonders why the brand names are in English because he doesn't understand them. He starts looking around frantically, showing that he's very new to luxury. He stares at the brand names, wondering why there's no Adidas anywhere. After pacing up and down for a while, he decides to just go all out and not restrict himself. He then goes into the Louis Vuitton shop where he sees some girls, but one of them tells him to go away. The lady looks at our boy, analyzing his hairstyle and outfit. Seeing how trashy it all is, she concludes that he's just a poor person. As the girls go about their business, he wonders why they're ignoring him and asks if they aren't going to attend to him. Although he looks broke, he really doesn't appreciate their snobbish and rude attitude. He then tells them that he's just getting back from work and that he wants to pick an item that's worth 150,000 yuan. However, since they're wasting time, he decides it's better to head over to the Hermes store. Upon hearing this, the sales girls are too stunned to speak. In a few seconds, they all surround him, advertising their goods and even offering him a cup of tea. Seeing their actions, our hero is convinced that money does all the talking in this world. After he's done shopping, a lady follows him while carrying some bags, and the others let him know that he's welcome at any time. Xingwang is impressed by the service in luxury stores, especially by the fact that someone else carries his bags for him. The lady then tells him that he's welcome to participate in a jewelry appreciation event if he has the time. After that, she offers to have the items he bought delivered to his home. However, our hero prefers to do these things himself. With a charming expression, the salesgirl wishes him a lovely day. While walking, he hears 2 girls talking about buying some luxury items, but one of them says she can't afford them because they're too expensive and suggests that they buy the items through agents. After hearing them, our hero is more convinced about how expensive these items are. Seeing that he basically spent up to 3 years' worth of salary, the system rewards him with 660,000 yuan. Xingwang then sees that the only path to earn more money is to keep spending lavishly. He needs to work a bit harder to reach his goal of becoming a millionaire. Later on, we see some women going in and out of an exquisite restaurant. Our hero, with his clean and expensive-looking attire, walks into the restaurant. There, he meets a waitress who welcomes him and offers to take him to his reserved private room. Xingwang then notes that he has arrived a bit earlier than expected, but the lady tells him that the VIP room has an area where he can rest and wait for his friends. As the lady guides him, he is impressed by how his expensive clothes are getting him such wonderful treatment, something he could have never enjoyed in the past. As they get to the resting area, the lady points out the desserts and tea on the table and then tells him to ring the bell if he needs their service. She promises not to bother him while he enjoys his meal. Our hero walks over to the large window to enjoy the beautiful view of the city from the 40th floor. So long as he has the money, he can enjoy the best services that life has to offer. Not only that, but he can also stand at the height that so many can only wish to reach. All the fantasies he has had in his mind for a while can finally come true. He then goes ahead to quickly send some money back to his dad, but not too much in order not to raise suspicions. If his parents ask where he got the money, he decides to tell them that it's from a part-time job. Meanwhile, Gao Wen seems to be dancing seriously in order to impress her fans and keep them engaged. She's going hard at it so that the gifts can keep coming in. Our hero watches her stream on his phone and realizes this is why she hasn't replied to his message yet. She then goes ahead to thank her top fans for all the rocket gifts. After that, she ends her stream for the day. Later on, she takes off her heels and tries to relax for a bit after the stress. Her friends come over to ask what they'll be eating tonight, but she tells them that she already has some plans. The friend is eager to know if she's going to meet some rich man. One lets the girl know that she's going to meet Xinguang. Upon hearing this, her friends wonder if there's something going on between her and our hero. Gao Wen tells them to stop spouting nonsense and explains that it's only right for them to have a meal since he was her operations manager. The blonde-haired girl decides she wants to come as well, and Wen agrees. Gao Wen also decides that they'll pay for the meal themselves if it gets quite expensive. Xinuo, the red-haired girl, agrees that they should just treat themselves and not take advantage of anyone. However, she wonders if our boy can truly afford an expensive restaurant. Gao Wen then goes to wipe off her makeup and decides to meet her friends at the parking lot when she's done. Afterward, the girls meet up at the parking lot where we see an expensive-looking car. It belongs to Gao Wen, and she suggests that they take her car to the restaurant. She suggests that her friend should become a dancer-streamer since she wants to buy an expensive car as well. However, the girl explains that it's a lot of work, and she would rather wait to get swept off her feet by one of Wen's top fans. Xinuo tells her that she's thinking too much because in their line of work, it's good enough not to be used by the sponsors. Regardless, the blonde girl, Qingqing, just wants to dream. Xinuo leaves her to her dreams, but she doubts that Gao Wen actually bought her car by dancing alone. After that, she asks where they'll be eating. Gao Wen checks her phone for the location and is left speechless when she finds out where it is. On the other hand, Xinuo assumes the place is too cheap, which is why her friend is speechless. Gao Wen tells her friends that they're going to Lingwei, which shocks Qingqing. Cold sweat starts to run down Wen's face as she realizes that the restaurant is in the Qingtian building. It's a really famous 3 Michelin star restaurant, and it's also hard to get a reservation there. She wonders if this is a mistake or if our hero decided to quit his job because he's now super rich. On the other hand, Xinuo thinks it might just be a cheap place that's around the area and feels that our boy is trying to show off. Gao Wen tells her not to judge because Xinguang isn't that kind of conceited person. Regardless, Xinuo still doubts that our hero is being genuine. The girls get into the car and decide to get there first. The car speeds out of the garage and into the city streets, lit up by the night lights. Qingting is impressed by the car's good stability. Upon hearing her, Xinuo tells her to get some of the resources she needs for her car through the wealthy fans in her live stream. She even shows her the way to use her bodily charms to get the fans hooked. According to her, if Qingqing drops her standards, those big shots will send many rockets. Feeling embarrassed, Qingqing reminds Xinuo that her audience is only made up of females. Regardless, Xinuo doesn't hesitate to show how she'd become a full-time housewife if a rich guy wanted to marry her. She suddenly feels insulted by Gao Wen because the girl isn't saying anything. The dancer then explains that she'll be at the mercy of such a person if she can't be financially independent. She doesn't want to feel the need to be on guard at all times. Xinuo gets upset, feeling like Gao Wen's live streams are even more provocative than anyone else's. Regardless, Gao Wen only wants to make as much money as she can and be self-reliant. Later on, they arrive at the location and head into the parking lot. As they head out of the car, Qingqing suggests that they double-check just to be sure that our hero didn't send them to the wrong location. Xinuo also agrees, saying that it would be humiliating if they enter such an esteemed restaurant and leave because they don't have reservations. Gao Wen decides to call Xinguang. It rings for a bit, but our boy doesn't answer. Xinuo quickly blames her friend for being close to someone who's just trying to show off. On the other hand, Gao Wen feels that our hero might just be busy. Xinuo suggests that they should head upstairs and check, but she's only doing this to see her friend make a fool of herself. As they head into the elevator, Gao Wen thinks about how frugal Xinguang is. She hopes that our MC isn't joking around. If not, she'll have to be the one treating them. When they arrive on the restaurant floor, she sneakily looks around the corner searching for our protagonist. She keeps trying to call, but Xinguang isn't picking up. While dialing his number again, a waitress approaches her and asks if she has a reservation. While she's too shocked to speak, Xinuo quickly answers the waitress. Gao Wen then tells the lady their reservation should be under Xinguang's name. Considering how low our hero's salary was, Xinuo is eager to see how her friend maneuvers this situation. However, the waitress lets them know that our MC has been waiting for them for a while. Upon hearing this, Xinuo's mind is blown, and she wonders if this is real. As the waitress guides them to their seat, Xinuo starts to feel envious and jealous of Gao Wen because her friend is in the top position in the company while she's left in second. She feels that the protagonist will lose all his money and the girl if he keeps this up. As they get to the elevator, the waitress ushers them in and clicks on the button to head to the 40th floor. Qingting becomes a bit more nervous as they go up, because the elevator is strictly for VIP customers. She explains that these VIP customers spend at least 10,000 to access the top floor viewing rooms. Upon hearing this, Xinuo concludes that they must be meeting someone with the same name as our hero. If it happens to be actually him, she can't wait to see how he handles the 3 of them. She feels our boy is just showing off and she is eager to see him get exposed. As they arrive on the 40th floor, the waitress happily shows them to their seats. As the girls go in, they notice that Xiongwang isn't there. Qingting decides they should take some pictures since they're already there. She decides it'll be better to take photos even if they don't eat, so it'll look like they did, but Xinuo just ignores her. With the photos, Qingting can just post them online, and no one will know if she snuck in or came to eat. Xinuo, on the other hand, is all upset because our boy isn't there to welcome them. Meanwhile, Qingting's eyes light up as she posts her pictures on social media for her fans. She wonders if she'll ever have the chance to come to such a luxurious place again. Xinuo asks Gao Wen if our MC has replied yet so that they don't end up making a fool of themselves. As the waitress knocks on our boy's room door, Gao Wen feels they might have gotten the wrong person. Xinuo is just about to celebrate her doubts when our hero suddenly walks in, apologizing for sleeping off. With his dashing looks, he meets the girls, hoping that they haven't been waiting for too long. He then tells the waitress to start serving the food. Gao Wen looks at our hero, left speechless, and wondering if it's the same guy she saw earlier. Qingting notes how the protagonist is wearing a lot of expensive clothes, even highlighting how much the jacket costs. Seeing his expensive wear, Xinuo wonders if our boy is a hidden rich second generation. Her envy grows even more because she wishes she was in Gao Wen's position right now. Our hero goes ahead to greet Qingting, who he recognizes, but he has no idea who Xinuo is. She politely introduces herself, and he bluntly tells her that she looks different without her beauty filter. She doesn't seem offended and instead tells our MC that she's wearing light makeup, but she ends up biting her lips in anger. Gao Wen then mentions how her two colleagues wanted to join her after she got off work. Suddenly, a group of waiters walks into the room, each one holding different meals on their trays. Seeing how luxurious the dishes look, Gao Wen wonders why our boy is doing so much for them. Meanwhile, Qingting wonders if Xinguang quit his job to inherit a family business, but Gao Wen has no idea. Xinguang looks at the meal before him, wondering how anyone could even have an appetite for this. Qingting then kindly asks to take photos of the meals before they start eating. Our hero tells her to feel free and take as many pictures as she likes. While Qingting takes the photos, Xinuo asks Gao Wen if she's been keeping them in suspense all along, but the dancer has no idea what's going on either. Gao Wen notes that she's not close with our hero, but she is grateful for the marketing activities he has helped her with. She recalls how he usually carpooled with others and even took trains with discounts. Due to this, she suspects that he might be a low-profile rich kid, and he reveals his wealth so that a lady doesn't have to pay for the meal. Xinguang then asks the waitress if there's any other meal that's more filling. Qingting admires his daring nature because the meals mostly look good for pictures, but they aren't filling. The waitress then lists out a couple of large protein meals and also offers to have the chef customize the meal for them. However, none of these sound appealing to Xinguang, so he tells her to bring more of their imported crab and beef, and he also says they should cut the meat into chunks. Qingting is blown away by his actions. It's the first time she has seen someone order like this at a high-end restaurant. Nevertheless, Xinuo tells him that he doesn't need to go to a French restaurant if he wants to eat something else. She doubts our hero once again and thinks he might just be an imposter. Our hero goes ahead to order grilled kidneys and barbecued skewers and asks if they can be made. Sadly, the waitress tells him that they only have set menu items and they can't make his custom orders. Upon hearing this, he requests to see the manager, and the lady tells him to wait briefly. However, the waitress is beyond shocked by his request. Moments later, a fat man walks into the room and introduces himself as the manager. He then tells Xinguang that they can only serve French cuisine since they're a French restaurant. Xinuo is glad, seeing how our MC's request has been refused. Regardless, our hero isn't about to back down on what he wants. He offers to pay 300,000 yuan for the custom meal, and he'll even throw in 50,000 as a tip if the manager can make it happen. Upon hearing this, the manager and the girls are completely baffled. The man quickly agrees and asks Xinguang how well done he would like the kidneys. The protagonist decides to reward him for complying, even though he likes how defiant the manager looked earlier. The man then tells our MC to take his seat while he heads over to instruct the chef. The system then rewards our hero with 500,000 for standing his ground. After that, he tries to tell the girls that dining should be all about relaxing and eating well. Qingting quickly agrees because she can't wait to take photos and post them on social media. After a while, the waiters come in with our hero's meal. They set down the fine-looking dishes, and this time there's more than enough meat to go around. Qingting's mind is blown away, and she admits that money really does the talking. As she goes ahead to take pictures and post them, our hero politely asks the ladies to join him for dinner. After some time, we see that there's barely any food left on the table. Our hero then excuses himself to use the bathroom. As he leaves the table, the girls discuss how expensive his clothes and the meal are. Qingting suspects that he has a thing for Gao Wen, but the dancer feels that the protagonist only worked at their company to keep a low profile. However, Qingting doubts a rich second-generation kid just wants to experience life. Xinuo then asks Gao Wen if she likes Xinguang. Qingting's eyes spark up, thinking about how a rich kid just wants to spend money to have dinner with her friend. Xinuo, being her jealous self, suspects that Gao Wen already knows about our boy's background, and she tells her that it's unfair to keep such big news from them. However, Gao Wen tells them that she barely knows the guy, so she couldn't possibly have feelings for him. While her legs shake nervously, she assures her friends that she's never had private interactions with Xinguang before. She recalls how dedicated our MC was to his work, even working late hours sometimes. After hearing her, Zinuo decides to believe her friend for now. She still suspects our MC is faking everything since people tend to do this and even take out online loans just to get close to girls. On the other hand, Qingting feels they should commend our boy if he's been pretending to be poor all along. Zinuo proposes that they can use multiple ways to verify if the protagonist is really from a rich family. However, Gao Wen tells her it's a bit intrusive and that her actions aren't right at all. Regardless, the crazy redhead doesn't believe her friend is innocent either. She tells Gao Wen not to underestimate her value because some people will find it worth it to spend thousands on her. She also points out that this is how manipulative people act, and if this is the case, it could be very dangerous. Despite all her words, Gao Wen makes it clear that she has no plans to be in a romantic relationship with Xinguang. Zinuo tells her not to do anything and reminds her that her friends are just looking out for her. Later on, they get to the parking lot with our hero. There, Gao Wen hopes that Xinguang isn't actually faking his wealth and going down a dark path. Suddenly, Qingting asks our MC if he has a girlfriend. He tells her that he doesn't and that he's been a lone wolf since birth. She acts completely shocked when she hears this. Xinguang tells her that he's been focusing on his career ever since and never had time for dating. He feels like becoming a lovesick fool would just put him under too much stress, and he's definitely not stupid enough to put himself in that situation. The simple thought of it sends shivers down his spine. Looking at the time, Zinuo proposes that they go to the Fugue Bar, where she's a regular. She also sees it as a chance to meet some celebrities and network with them. Our hero then agrees to follow them. They get into Gao Wen's car and set off. Inside the car, Xinguang and Gao Wen remain speechless and look a bit anxious. However, our hero is thinking of how to use his capital to invest and even grow his own media company. Thanks to his experience, he'd definitely be able to succeed in the field and get acquainted with some celebrities. As they arrive at the bar, Zinuo tells them that she'll only be able to afford 2 drinks for each person because of the high prices. She hopes they don't mind, and they all agree to drink within her budget. In front of them, we see Xinguang's former boss surrounded by some hot women. Meanwhile, our protagonist is just really excited to visit such a famous bar. We see the bar popping off with loud music and everyone dancing to their heart's content. While everyone is trying to enjoy the night, our hero and his 3 girls are seated at a table by the side. Xinu orders a margarita and tells the others to order whatever they want. Gao Wen orders something with no alcohol because she still has to drive. They ask our MC what he wants, but he's too amazed by the bar because he's never been in one. Xinu calls his attention again and asks what he wants to order. He then tells her that anything they have will be fine for him. She decides to order a Long Island iced tea, but Qingting feels it's too strong and that she's going too far. Xinu reminds her friends that a bar is still a place to drink. As time goes on, the music gets louder and folks are still popping off on the dance floor. Xinu then mentions that she wants to try drinks at a bar known as Fuyu Bar. Upon hearing this, Gao Wen tells her to stop because she's doing too much. Regardless, Xinu wants to snap our boy back to reality if he's actually pretending to be rich. While she calls our hero's attention, he's too focused on meeting some influencers who could be potential business partners. Getting ignored pisses off Zinuo, but our hero eventually answers her, and she suggests that they play dice. Curious, he asks how to play the game. As she slams the cover on the table, she proposes that they make the game exciting. She raises the stakes by saying that whoever loses has to take off a piece of clothing or pay 10,000 yuan. Xinguang lets out a heavy sigh and reminds her that he knows all about their registered information and skills. Due to this, he knows she's an expert at dice, and he asks her if she's trying to trick him into getting money. Zinuo is left speechless after our MC exposes her. He calls her out on the spot for thinking that he's pretending to be rich, considering his history. He also lets her know that he can see the looks of disdain and suspicion in her eyes. Thanks to exposing her trap, the system rewards him with 1,000,000 yuan. After that, he lets them know that he's not from a rich family. Upon hearing this, Xinua quickly concludes that he's been pretending to be rich all along. However, our hero tells her to let him finish. He lets her know that he's rich and offers to give her 300,000 yuan if she leaves the bar without any clothes. Feeling embarrassed, Zinuo tells him that he's going too far. Gao Wen calms him down, saying that her friend was just joking, so she decides they should just sit and play for some time. Still, Zinuo opens her loud mouth, saying that no one will believe that he actually has that much money. Suddenly, our hero yells out that he'll treat everyone in the bar until they're all drunk. He whips out a golden card and offers to pay with it immediately. After paying, the bartender returns our hero's card and lets him know that the payment is complete. Everyone there is shocked at how much he's spending, and they all celebrate him, wishing him a long life of peace. The system goes ahead to reward him with 600,000 yuan for treating everyone. Xinua is once again left baffled after seeing that Xinguang actually has that much money. As he walks past her, he lets her know that he has no intention to make her respect him because people like her are insignificant to him. In the end, Xinua is left embarrassed as our hero returns to his seat. She returns to her seat, looking defeated and unable to utter a single word. Qingting tries to quietly talk to Gao Wen about the awkwardness. Suddenly, Xinua says she has something to do. so she decides to leave first. As she runs away with tears in her eyes, she nearly crashes into a waiter who's holding drinks. On the other hand, our hero continues to roll dice and tells the others that they should keep playing since he'll be paying for the night. A girl who recognizes Gao Wen suddenly walks up to them and asks if the dancer is trying to drink her sorrows away. She tries to provoke the dancer by talking about how her top fan is weak, but Gao Wen would rather talk during working hours. Regardless, the girl calls out Wen for pretending to be innocent and asks why she's doing that. Gao Wen slaps the girl's hand away, reminding her that it's none of her business. While the pink-haired girl continues to be a nuisance, our hero remains silent. The girl even sits beside Gao Wen and says that they should use the chance to live stream. She greets her fans and tells them that she just met Gao Wen at the bar. She turns the camera to the dancer, pointing out that Gao Wen doesn't like her and asks her audience to help out. Suddenly, Gao Wen starts getting a lot of messages from fans, and they all want her to engage in a once-in-a-lifetime showdown. Meanwhile, the pink-haired girl has already planned how to become the top dance streamer, thanks to the big shots that are ready to support her. There's only a little time left for them to make their move. Gao Wen then excuses herself to take a call. Her boss tells her to start streaming, but Wen isn't in the best condition for this. However, her boss doesn't give her much of a choice, so she reluctantly agrees. As she gets back, her rival lets the fans know that she has returned. The girl asks if Wen is scared, but the dancer is ready to begin the showdown. The two streamers set up their cameras and start their stream battle. They start showing off their sick dancing moves, but Qingting notices that Gao Wen is falling behind. The other streamer keeps pushing as hard as she can to win. Gao Wen's performance is very poor, causing fans to support the other streamer, Shu Yi, instead. In the comments section, the fans talk about how a guy named Z is the only one who can really support Gao Wen. Looking at the comments from his phone, our hero realizes that the other streamer is playing dirty. While the fans look down on Gao Wen, she suddenly receives a rocket gift. She is shocked to see that our MC actually sent her a rocket, so she assures him that she'll try hard. He sends up to 4 rockets, which she deeply appreciates. While she thanks him, the other fans are confused as to what's going on. Gao Wen's opponent feels bummed out and wonders who her secret big brother could be. The fans then encourage this big brother to keep sending gifts if he has more. The pink-haired girl starts to panic, feeling like all the money spent on her has been wasted. On the other hand, Gao Wen is overwhelmed by the number of gifts she's getting. The fans wonder who this big brother is, and some suspect that the agency is doing a forceful promotion. However, considering that the platform takes most of the cut, it doesn't make sense for the agency to pay so high for a promotion. Meanwhile, the protagonist wonders if there's any point in continuing their battle. At the same time, the system gives him 5 million yuan for his extravagant ways. Qingting is shocked that the big brother is still giving out gifts, and she wonders if someone's child is handling their phone. However, it's just our hero who's doing his best to support Gao Wen. The rockets are so many that Gao Wen asks for a moment to catch her breath. However, Xingwang just keeps the rockets coming. Meanwhile, in Shu Yi's group, we see one of the big shots telling his people that they can't let this slide. As they start sending her rockets, Shu Yi is glad to see that they've started making a move. With a cute and charming expression, she thanks them for the rockets. Considering her top fan wanted private videos, she's sure that the guy won't miss this chance to support her. In a few moments, Shu Yi is showered with dozens of rocket gifts. Regardless, Xingwang isn't fazed by this. With his fast hands and deep pockets, he sends 100 rockets to Gao Wen, and in return the system rewards him with 10 million yuan. Thanks to his gifts, Gao Wen emerges as the winner of the competition. As she thanks, she can't believe her eyes when she still gets 1,000 rocket gifts. In return, Xingwang gets rewarded millions of yuan for being the top donor. Gao Wen humbly thanks the big brother for bringing millions of live viewers to her small stream. However, she also reminds him not to waste all of his money on her. Her words touch the hearts of her fans, causing them to be more interested in her streams. On the other hand, Shiyu is pissed off because all her efforts have been wasted. Gao Wen's achievement is something that even top streamers on the platform have never achieved. With how late it is, our hero is tired and ready to hit the hay. He then tells Shiyu not to give up and to keep working hard to surpass her rival someday. Meanwhile, Qingting tells Gao Wen that our boy's words must have made Shiyu upset. Lu Shiyu stands speechless, wondering what to make of her situation. At the same time, our hero takes his leave with the girls. As our boy leaves the bar, Qingting mentions how Shiyu's plan blew up in her face, thanks to Xingwang. It's a memorable day for her because she got to see the super-rich Xingwang as the #1 tycoon on the Xuanyin platform. She notices Gao Wen isn't excited and asks why. The dancer then tells her friend that she feels unworthy of all the gifts given to her, and it makes her a bit uncomfortable. Qingting, on the other hand, tells her it doesn't matter, and she even wants to get close to this big brother. She then decides to send the guy a private message. As she sends it, Xingwang quickly receives the notification on his phone. As his phone beeps, the girls are shocked to hear the sound on his phone at the same time. Qingting immediately recognizes the app's notification sound, and even Gao Wen starts to have her suspicions. Xingwang tries to play it off, saying that it's just a coincidence and nothing more. He tells them that he's still dealing with a couple of private messages after quitting his job. However, Gao Wen notes that he spent millions of yuan just some moments ago. Xinguang admits he has a bit of money but denies having up to millions. Qingting still suspects him, considering that he has a Wang in his name as well. After that, Gao Wen offers to drop him off wherever he lives, but he decides to take a cab since he lives quite far away. Suddenly, she hears a familiar voice calling out her name. It happens to be our MC's former boss, who is happy to run into the streamer. On the other hand, Gao Wen isn't happy at all to see him. He recognizes Xinguang and assumes that the streamer invited him to come to the bar. She then points out that it was the protagonist who actually took her out to dinner and paid for everything. The guy's brain finds it hard to process what she said for a moment. He assumes that she has fallen for our boy and is trying to cover up for him. He even points out how everyone's bill in the bar was covered by an unknown person, so he doubts it could have been Xinguang. He starts talking down on Xinguang, saying that he must have used sweet words to charm Gao Wen. Qingting also comes in and lets the manager know that it was Xinguang who actually paid for everyone. However, he suddenly lashes out at her because he didn't give her the right to speak. He starts saying that Qingting's fans are all fake, and this completely shatters her heart. She can't believe her ears. Manager He Shui tells her that the company spent money to buy fake followers for her and that no one would actually want to watch her. He calls her a money-losing asset, which makes her feel more horrible about herself. His harsh words only serve to make Qingting very furious. After talking down on her, he moves to Gao Wen, reminding her that she said she didn't want to be a dance streamer anymore. He offers to try and get an acting role for her if she does one more favor for him. Gao Wen is completely disgusted as the manager asks her to spend a night with him. Suddenly, our boy grabs his hand and tells the drunk fool to show some respect. The manager takes back his hand and calls out Xinguang for trying to act like some kind of hero. He calls our MC's clothes a knockoff and tells him to take his stinking self and leave. Xinguang doesn't say a word as the insults are hurled at him. Gao Wen looks at his flashy clothes for a moment, then tells the manager that she'll terminate their contract if he harasses her again. However, the manager laughs at her little threats and reminds her that she still has a year left in her contract. If she terminates, she'll have to pay 10 million as a penalty fee. Regardless, she assures him that with her savings, she can afford the fee. The manager gets pissed off and starts insulting all the influencers, saying that none of them are pure. He lets her know that the company won't release her even if she pays the fee. He doesn't think any reasonable person would easily let go of a cash cow. Not only that, but he also threatens to blacklist her in the industry, and this really scares her. Our boy moves in to defend her and says he'll buy the media company if she can't leave. With this, he'll make sure that the manager will be the one to leave. The manager then becomes speechless after hearing this.